Good morning. So we've kind of changed directions with where we're going to go with this unit. I was planning on a full-on big old essay, but given that we're doing distance learning, I wanted to simplify this for you guys a little bit, make it a little bit easier to get done. So here's what we're going to do. Instead of doing that, we're going to do a letter to the editor. Okay? And you have four possible subjects, basically. You could say that you want to have the Supreme Court uphold DACA. You could say you want the Supreme Court to strike down DACA. You want Congress to pass the DREAM Act and President Trump to sign it, or you're against the DREAM Act and don't want it passed. So in a letter to the editor, you're going to be writing to the editor, that's the person who's in charge of a newspaper, and you're going to tell them what you think. Okay, it's kind of like a really mini persuasive essay, and every major newspaper has letters to the editor. Sometimes you could write a letter to the editor right now and it might get published. All right, so you'll notice that I'm not putting, I didn't put the description of how to do it in the prompt because I want you guys to actually watch this video. All right, but so what's important is yours should look a lot like mine, but not copy my wording, if that makes sense. So it should be similar to mine, but not copy my wording. And I wrote it about a completely different subject that you will not be writing about, and that's the coronavirus. Okay, I'm going to grade you on ethos, pathos, and logos. So do you sound like you know what you're talking about? Hopefully you've read all the articles and paid attention, watched my screencastify on what the difference between the DREAM Act, DACA, and all that stuff is. All right. Do you have good grammar? Do you use periods? All that stuff. That's important. Okay. Okay. So maybe you could do an online spell checker or something like that. Since in a letter to the editor, nobody knows who you are, you have to rely on the way that you write, your grammar, your diction, your use of vocabulary, and your knowledge of the subject, and how clear and concise you are to persuade people that you're worth listening to. Pathos. This is hopefully the easy part. Do you make your reader feel strongly about your subject? This whole thing with the Dreamers is such an emotional topic. This should be pretty easy to do. It's really easy to make people feel sorry for the Dreamers because they didn't ask for the situation. Logos. Are you logical? Perhaps the most important part. All right, so let's take a look at how I did my example one in my example letter to the editor, this one being about the coronavirus. Not necessarily my actual opinion, I just wrote it. It's a current thing, so I just went for it. All right, so I start off with a very short introductory paragraph that just gets right to what I'm talking about. So just basically, hey, coronavirus has sickened 163,000 people and killed 2,860. It's probably changed since 2 days ago when I wrote this. Things are moving quick. All right, and then I get right to my point. As I say that the U.S. government is not taking it seriously. We need to issue a nationwide stay-at-home order. We have one of those in California, but this is saying it should be throughout the whole entire country. All right. In the second paragraph, I just give my reasons why. I have a little bit of pathos here as I throw in a little bit of the situation in New York and how so many people are dying. And then I just give my reasons or a couple reasons. Yours could be one or two reasons as long as you really develop it well. All right. So I just kind of give all my reasons why we need a nationwide lockdown. Okay. Once again, not necessarily how I feel. Third paragraph, I just start off with a little bit of a counter argument. It's natural. People don't want to get with the freedom of movement. They're worried about the economy, yada, yada. But if we don't take a dramatic action now, the sickness will spread out of control. All right, and take down the entire healthcare system. A little bit pathosy there, but I'm trying to rebut that argument. And then I have a concluding paragraph. All right, and I kind of a little rhetorical question. Basically, you restate your main idea here, or do one last big kind of call to action, and then you sign it. So mine's sincerely Pamela Panic. Right? Sorry, just being a little sarcastic. But yeah. But as you can see, hey, I single spaced it. You can double space it or single space it. Doesn't matter for this because we're doing it as if it were a letter to the editor. But you can see this is less than a page single spaced. All right. The letters to the editor are not super long. If they're really long, they will either edit it out or they will they will cut pieces out of it or just not use it. So a letter to the editor has to be long enough to be good and make your point, but not so long that it gets cut out. Not so long that they start cutting out important things you did or just don't publish your letter to the editor. All right, so this is very common. There's even, as we've mentioned before, the op-ed, which is where they ask people to write basically a letter to the editor to give their opinion. All right, so this is what we're doing. So one more time, just to do this, I have my little thing to the editor to the Daily Sun, and then I just have block format here. You notice I'm not, since it's a letter, I'm not indenting. I just put an entire space between paragraphs. You start off with your main idea, real quick background information maybe. Usually we start with a little, what's the situation you're talking about? So that's my first sentence, what I'm talking about. Second sentence was what I want to have happen, and bam, I'm done with the entire paragraph. Second paragraph, you just give your big main idea or ideas, your big argument or arguments. Third paragraph, quick counter argument rebuttal. Fourth paragraph is your conclusion. Bing, boom, bang, done. You notice that some of my paragraphs are only 2 sentences. That's just fine. So hopefully this helps you. If you have questions, let me know. I'll be checking today and tomorrow your guys' stuff, see what's going on. You can ask questions today. If you want me to check something, for example, today and tomorrow I'll be doing that. I think I'm going to make this due, 2 days after we get back from spring break. 2 days after we get back from, 2 days after we get back from spring break. So Monday is a day off. Tuesday is the 14th, and I'm going to make it due the 15th of April. April 15th, this will be due. All right, so this is due April 15th. All right, so if you have questions, you can ask. I have tutorials this afternoon as well, which is you have to come to if you're going to do makeups. But if you have a question about this as well, that'd be fine. All right, hopefully this helps you.